Glad to say Connie Shaw's here for the Free Speech Union. Very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike.
It's a very apposite time for you to be here because there's an awful lot of stuff flying around, which didn't used to be illegal, but apparently now is. We're talking, of course, about Mr. Linehan and what happened to him and what Nigel Farage was saying yesterday in the American Parliament, effectively.
Yeah, I thought Nigel Farage was actually excellent in Congress yesterday. I think he put the point across very, very well, and I think it was received well, despite the fact he might have got some combat from other members of the House. But no, I think it was really great. And I think what's happened to Glinner will possibly be the straw that breaks the camel's back. If it's not, then all of my hope is lost, frankly. He was not just arrested, he was met by 5 armed police officers. I'm sure your listeners know this by this point. He was detained for 16 hours, only released when they decided that he needed to go to A&E because his blood pressure was so high they were worried he was going to have a stroke. Which is an extraordinary kind of ending for something that happened months ago, for a start. Yes, I know. The tweets, they were posted in April, and all of a sudden, without any prior warning, he was on the way home for a separate trial that he's involved in to go to that. And, you know, not that I think that he should have been asked to go to an interview for what he's allegedly done, but perhaps they thought, well, he's already come back to go to this other matter. Let's maybe just call him for an interview rather than meet him with 5 armed police
do what they
officers.
used to do, which was to ask you if you'd like to come to the police station voluntarily to answer a few questions, which is entirely within their remit to do. I mean, crazy in this particular instance, but still something they would have done years ago. Now they have to actually physically arrest you.
I know. And it's insane that they think that he's a risk to the public compared to the fact, you know, in 2023, 75% of burglaries weren't attended to. 1 in 5 shoplifting reports aren't attended to. And I mean, even Wes Streeting now is saying, police our streets, not our tweets. Even Number 10 threw the Met under the bus. I mean, there's a bit of chaos going on because Number 10 said that they need to get their priorities straight. But Mark Rowley at the Met is saying that they've been put between a rock and a hard place. I mean, Guido Fawkes have even said that they're being forced to combat these things.
Well, somebody's not telling the truth here, are they?
No, and it's no secret that organisations such as Stonewall have really corrupted the police. They basically give all public bodies sort of awards for going along with this kind of stuff. I mean, even one of our other members, Lindsay Smith, she just won her case against Northumbria Police, who were joining in with the Pride Parade, which is a political ideology, and she won that case. There's no secret that
you guys always win, don't you?
This.
I mean, Free Speech Union, generally speaking, does win in these cases.
Yes,
because
the vast majority of our cases we win, and if seeing what's happened to Graham hasn't shocked people enough, I remind your listeners that this is not an isolated incident. There is a consistent pattern now of people being reported by bad faith actors who find what they say offensive or just want to ruin their life a little bit, and then the police take it seriously, arrest the person, seize their devices, release them on bail with ridiculous conditions, and then that person's life is just absolutely traumatised. I mean, look at the case of Maxie Allen and his partner, Rosalind Levine. We're looking for them to get compensation. They were arrested at their home by multiple police officers after they were criticising their daughter's school, detained for about 11 hours. Julian Fawkes, earlier this year, the famous Brexty Books police raid on his house, we won him £20,000 back in compensation. And hopefully that will be one of the things that we get for Graham. We're suing the Met Police for wrongful arrest, unlawful imprisonment, and also defamation, because originally the Met said that he was arrested on suspicion of inciting violence, even though that term is not used anymore in our legal system. But then they've changed their tune and said, actually, we've arrested him under the Section 3A of the Public Order Act, which actually says about stirring up hatred on the basis of religion and sexual orientation, something which none of the two, Graham hasn't done either of those things. So that's why you're hearing reports about the Met not even knowing what the law is.
The police don't seem to know what the law is in all sorts of situations. I mean, I watched a video last week, just before I went away, of a guy outside a migrant hotel being told by a police officer that he had to disperse and leave the area, and he said why, and it was because one of the migrants had complained that he was trying to put an England flag up outside the hotel, and it was causing him distress. And you go, that's not an offence.
I know, well, it's a bit like Hamit Koskin's case, the Turkish man who burnt the Quran outside the Turkish embassy. The CPS, the evidence, part of the evidence they used to find him guilty of causing harassment, alarm and distress, that triple whammy of the holy trinity of our free speech in this country, part of the evidence was that he was stabbed by a man. It's almost like saying, you made that man stabbed you, therefore you must have harassed and alarmed and distressed.
It was ridiculous. serious.
It's like an
not
abuse.
the fact that the man was some kind of nutcase.
No.
Right.
You know, it's like it's now basically saying to Islamists, if you want your blasphemy laws in force, make sure you go out and kill the people who want to blaspheme your religion.
Yeah.
Because then we will prosecute them. Like, it's just outrageous. And there is multiple cases. I mean, it's the same with non-crime hate incidents.
Yeah.
They're
which they've been told repeatedly to stop recording, but yet they continue to record
even the police have admitted
them.
it doesn't help them track hate crime. Even though I think since 2014 there's been 250,000 of these recorded. It can stop you getting jobs.
Yeah.
And they are like a non-crime hate incident depends on the alleged victim perceiving something to be sort of discriminatory towards them on the basis of their protected characteristics. So it's all about how the victim feels, rather than whether there is an actual legal assessment of what someone has said.
So there's no law anymore. It's all about subjective decisions.
It's so subjective.
Based upon how you feel.
Well, exactly. I mean, even when you get to the judges, they are still not able to leave their politics at home. I mean, well, in my opinion, look at the sentencing remarks of Lucy Connolly's judge, referencing diversity and inclusion. Lots of people think that their political opinions aren't political. They think they're just sort of basic common sense. But I think a lot of opinions
it's like the kind of people
aren't political. They should just be a legal assessment.
People that used to come out and say, you know, the debate is the science is settled when it comes to climate change. You know, you can't possibly disagree with it unless you're insane or very possibly, you know, a bigot or you know, some kind of right-wing maniac. Whereas, in fact, it isn't. It's all settled. You know, there's plenty of people who you can talk to who will have a debate about the effects of man-made climate change, you know, and that's what intelligent people do. You don't get told this is how you have to believe and think. That's not how democracy works.
No, absolutely not.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Well, so, Connie, great news that you're looking after Graham, because obviously he will be on the, you know, you'll be on the good side of things, and we'll see whether these ridiculous, you know, police investigations finally come to an end. It sounds like Mark Rowley sees that there's a problem, and he's in a lot of the papers this morning talking about we shouldn't be fighting culture wars. Well, then stop doing it.
I know. I don't know what goes on in the side of police operations, but when it's suggested that the police have no choice, it's like, come on. I mean, if I was a police officer, I don't know if I could possibly carry out. I'd probably lose my job for not going along with it. I don't know. But then Wes Streeting's saying that the law needs to be looked at. So perhaps there is a bit of agreement between the two of them. But then Number 10 was suggesting that actually the police need to get their priorities straight, rather than agreeing with Wes that there needs to be a.
I spoke to a former police officer who was involved in that. Do you remember that demonstration after the Wayne Couzens case down in Clapham? And he said that he point blank refused to go in and start throwing women on the ground. He said, well, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That is the most ridiculous thing you've ever said. So a lot of them didn't do it. So I think, you know, but I think the trouble is, you know, that's less and less the case now because people are frightened of losing their jobs. Yeah,
I know. It's devastating. I mean, look at that case of the guy, that a police officer who turned up outside someone's house to speak to them about a pension. He said, I'm really sorry that I'm here, but I just need to speak to you about this. Like, it's embarrassing for them.
It's embarrassing to go to try and carry out some kind of legal investigation about something that's not a crime.
I know.
It's mad.
I know.
It's insane.
I know.
I don't know. Maybe we're the only people that think it. Connie, good to see you.